All right, it's time for a new hero announcement. This is kind of what we expected. The new hero pack Silk has been announced for Marvel Champions. We're gonna read through this. I have not read this at all yet, so this is gonna be a blind take. But we knew it was gonna be Silk because they kind of hinted that during the LCG discussion that they had recently. So anyway, blind takes. We'll see what I think about her, but really hot take right before we even start. Web Warrior, yay, let's go. All right, so Smooth as Silk announcing the Silk Hero Pack for Marvel Champions. Let's go. Great artwork. All right, something about this story doesn't add up. Cindy Moon. After being bitten by the same radioactive spider as Peter Parker and gaining similar spider powers, Cindy Moon spent years of her life isolated in a bunker to protect Earth from a ravenous spider hunters known as the Inheritors, which I think we have already that mod set. Finally free from the bunker, Cindy now fights crime in the streets of New York as both an investigative journalist and a web-slinging hero, Silk. What is it with spider heroes and journalism, right? Peter Parker's a photographer. Is this someone else, something else too? I don't really remember. Whatever. All right, so Fantasy Flight Games is thrilled to announce the Silk Hero Pack from Marvel Champions, the card game. The latest addition to the game's Web Warrior roster. Be nice if you could get the other Web Warrior stuff really easily, but that's okay. No, I had to put that in there. Swings in the battle with this expansion pack, which introduces Silk as a new playable hero alongside her 15 signature cards. Packing a pre-built protection deck to keep her friends out of harm's way. You'll be able to use Silk's enhanced senses and quick reflexes to control the encounter deck from the moment you open the box. This pack also features a bonus modular set, the Atlas set starring Atlas of the Thunderbolts. All right, cool. So we'll look into those cards a bit. All right, boasting similar powers to everyone's favorite Spider-Man, neighborhood Spider-Man, Silk nevertheless takes a very different combat approach compared to web crawling from the core set. Okay, so 3 recovery. Genius traded, so that's sweet. Get to the Genius, which allows us to do Ingenuity, right, to get that, so 6 hand size, 10 hit points. Good stat line. Much better because isn't Ghost Spider like a 9 health point? I can't remember exactly, but I feel like she's a little bit weaker. But good stats there. All right, if there are more than 4 tucked cards here, discard all but 4 of those. Okay, so you can have 4 cards tucked behind her. Okay. Actually, discard a tuck card here. Draw 2 cards. All right, that's gonna be solid. Especially if you keep tucking cards. We have to see if it's our cards or the villain's cards will be interesting. But okay. Limit once per round is interesting too. So if you flip down, you could do it right then and there to get 2. So especially if you have cards in your hand you're trying to use up or whatever, and then you flip back up, you can do it again. So that's sweet. All right, Silk is a 1, 2, 3 stat line. Pretty good. Web Warrior. If there are more than 4 tuck cards here, discard all by 4. All right, so they don't want you to keep more than 4. You can get more than 4, but then you have to discard them. Silk Sense response. After you defeat a minion or side scheme or resolve a treachery card, tuck that card under here from the encounter discard pile. So you could theoretically then, like if there's certain elite minions or whatever else that you do not want to deal with, you can tuck them under here and then just like not have to deal with them again. Like, I mean, obviously the drawing the cards is gonna be really strong, but as a way to like keep them at bay, that's also a really strong way of doing things. I guess you could do player size game too. Oh no, because you have to go to the discard pile. So you probably couldn't do a player size game because they're all victory. And with victory, I don't think it ever goes to the discard pile. I think that's why they're specifying it like that. So you couldn't use them use player size games. Interesting. Okay. Central to Silk's whole plan is her Silk Sense, which allows her to tuck encounter cards under her identity whenever she defeats or resolves them. And it's great with encounter cards in general. Tuck cards are placed face up, similar to an attachment. However, unlike attachments, tuck cards are not considered in play. This represents Silk learning her opponent's tendencies and tells over the course of a scenario, making her far more effective combatant over time. For example, when Silk attacks an enemy, her Spider Claws, all right, 2 cost upgrade, 14 out of 15 weapon. When Silk makes a basic attack, so her attack is 2, right? Exhaust Spider Claws, and she gets +1 for this attack for each tuck card under her from the same encounter set as the attacking enemy. This attack gains piercing. Wow, that's wild. Okay. So if you tuck, let's just playing, you're playing Ultron, right? So if you tuck 4 Ultron cards under you, you can swing for 6, which is bonkers. So you want to collect a set, right? Basically, is what it's trying to force you to do. That's crazy. So exhaust spider cost for this attack, she gets +1 for each tuck card under the same encounter set as the attacked enemy, plus you gain piercing. Even if you have one, just to get the piercing is nice. Okay, that's slick. Boost her attack power for each card tucked under her that matches the enemy's encounter set, designated by the bottom left. Okay, like wait, it doesn't have to be the enemy though, right? Oh no, it does. Okay, so if you do it against a minion, not that it's the same set, the same as whatever you're attacking. So if you're attacking a minion from a modular set, it has to be from that mod set, right? Okay, that makes sense. If you just collect standard cards, it doesn't really help you as much. Likewise, for spider reflexes, 2 cost upgrade superpower card, 15 out of 15. Here enough when Silk defends, exhaust spider reflexes. For this attack, she gets +1 defense for each card tucked under her from the same encounter set as the attacking enemy. After this attack, tuck the top card of the encounter discard pile under Silk. Oh, so you get even more. So she was at 3, so she'd be at 7 defense. All right, I don't know how much you need more tucking power. I guess it helps you tuck extra cards, so that's not that bad because we don't really know how to do that yet too much, except for defeating a minion and whatever. So she wants to defend to ready her up. So obviously protection's gonna be strong with her. I guess that's why they started her there. Can boost her really already impressive defensive stat for each tuck card that matches the encounter set of the enemy attacking her. In either case, the more you study a particular encounter set, the better Silk will be at countering the enemy threats. Okay. All this culminates in Silk's Eidetic Eidetic memory. When you want to cost upgrade, when you reveal a card from the same encounter set as a card tucked on your identity, exhaust this card, swap those cards, reveal the card that's been tucked away under Silk. Obviously, that could be good, right? If there's a really bad card tucked under, or I'm sorry, that you show and the card that you have is less bad, especially if you can get like an easy minion tucked underneath you and swap it there, that could be pretty sweet. Okay, so that's cool. Which allows her to swap a particularly nasty encounter card with something more manageable from among her tuck cards. Remember that Silk can tuck away any minions she defeats, so you can use the ability to swap your villain's worst treachery card with a tamer minion. Exactly. Then defeat the minion on your next turn and have both cards tucked away. There's no limit to the number of times Silk can trigger her Silk Sense, though there is a hard limit of 4 cards tucked under her at any given time. This means you don't need to worry about occasionally discarding a tuck card for an extra benefit, such as powering up Swing Silk Kick. So 3 cost event, aerial attack, super, making aerial interesting. All right, so 3 for 7 damage. You may discard a tuck card for the same enemy, or from under Silk from the same enemy encounter set as that enemy. If you do, it gains 2 additional damage. Okay, so you can only do 1. So you can make it 3 for 9 with overkill, assuming you have a tucked card. Okay, cool. Or removing extra threat with wall crawl, which is one cost of threat. Oh, one threat removal. Jeez. Remove 2 threat from a scheme. Choose a scheme. You may discard a tuck. Okay, so you can remove 2 threat from a scheme, and then you choose a scheme. You may discard a tuck card under Silk from the same encounter set as the chosen scheme to remove 3 threat from the same scheme. So here's the thing. Like, I know we're all looking at this and like, oh my god, we could do such crazy powerful things. A lot of this stuff, like obviously it's the main scheme. You can now remove 1 for 5 essentially, which is nuts. But if there was a side scheme, right, you probably want to do like remove 2 threat from that side scheme and then use the 3 on the main scheme. Because if you probably want to collect the main encounter set. So you have to be really careful with this stuff because like you might be like, oh, I can remove 3 from the side scheme. That's a part of a different modular set. It'd be a little tougher then, so you wouldn't be able to like exactly do that. So it's gonna be a lot of balancing act there. So I know we're all looking at this and we're like, oh, you can like max this out every single time, as long as you balance it right. Like I think it's recognizing that. So again, if the side scheme is a part of a different set, I would do 1 off that side scheme, or I'm sorry, pay for 1, do 2 off that side scheme, remove like the main encounter set card, and then remove 3 off the main scheme. Now, of course, you could double up on it, right? So you could do 2 off the main scheme, remove a main scheme encounter set card, and then do 3 off that one, right? You don't have to choose a different one, you just have to choose a. She's no slouch in Alter Ego either, where your skills as a journalist come into play. As Cindy Moon, oh, we saw this. Okay. She can spend a tuck card to draw 2 extra cards, which is really good. Potentially giving her some more tools to work. I mean, that's really good. Her boss, J. Jonah Jameson, let's go. 3 cost support persona. Alter Ego action, exhaust this card, search your deck in the discard pile for get the scoop and put it into play. Action, exhaust this card, remove 2 threat from a side scheme. It's so good. Okay. Can help her get the scoop. Okay, player side scheme card. Interesting. It's 8, which is interesting. Alter Ego action, exhaust your identity, remove 2 threat from here. Any player may trigger this. Okay. When defeated, the player or the Cindy Moon player looks at the top 2 cards of the encounter deck and tucks one of those cards under their identity. All right, so you can kind of like get your system going, which is good. It does have 4 threat on it, so that's a lot to remove. But J. Jonah Jameson can help you do that, so let's go. Uh, before she put her silk suit back on, and can also help her clear some threat off the scheme, even when she switches to hero form. Right. So this is just an action. So like, just put this like, so every turn of his existence, you just remove 2 threat from the side scheme. That's bonkers because side schemes is something they've really been leaning into a lot in this game recently, like trying to get you a lot of side schemes. Now I don't have to worry about it. Just J. Jonah Jameson's going to handle it for me. Okay. With plenty of ways to tuck encounter cards under her and plenty of use, it's clear that Silk should not be underestimated. Hold on, wait. Before we get into those cards, I just want to read the images. So we have the first one, obviously. We have 14, 15, 11. So 12, 13 are probably upgrades and supports. Do we have 12, 13? No, we have 10 and 8. So 12, 13, usually they group upgrades together, right? So it'd be really weird if they did like an upgrade, an event, an upgrade, right? That doesn't normally happen. Like, so I guess sometimes it could, but it'd be weird. So 14, 15, 11. So yeah, missing 12, 13. And 10 is their support. So interesting. And 8 is the player's side scheme, right? Yeah, 8's the player's side scheme. Man, all right, we'll have to think about that. So you can also like count the smaller ones at the bottom. Hold on, try to glance through this really fast. So this is 11. Okay, oh, wait, we gotta start the lowest one. So swinging web kick silk is the 3rd card. Okay, so 1 is your hero, right? 1A is your hero, 1B is the other side of it. 2, whatever card 2 is also 1 and 2. Like it says like 3 for 15. This little one says 3. So 1 is the hero card. That means the second card, which is 1 out of 15 and 2 out of 15, there's 2 of them. So either she has 2 allies that are the same, or it's an event. Her threat removal card, she has 3 of these attacks. So 3, 4, 5 is all going to be swinging silk kick because the 4th card in the set is wall crawl at 6. And it's probably going to be, hold on, 6 out of 4. Yeah, it's the 5th one. So there's 2 wall crawls. So that's 8, 5. 9 is something else. Then 10 is this card. And then 11, 8. Okay. 11, 8. That makes sense. It's that memory card. We're looking for, what are we looking for? 11. So the next one would be 12. Okay, so that's too far. 12. All right. So 11, 8, which would be 12, 9, 13, 10, 14, 11. Yeah, so they're all different in there. So it's probably gonna be different upgrades and stuff like that. So anyway, for those that kind of follow that, that's how the process we figure out like how that works. So just feel free to rewatch that section of the video over and over. Okay, so naturally, Silk's inherent skills only make up for a part of her kit, and she comes pre-built with protection. I'm not a big protection fan, but we'll see what we got. Keeping herself and her allies healthy and hardy. Take advantage of Silk's naturally high defense with Stop Hitting Yourself. 2-cost event, it's an attack. After you defend against an enemy attack and take no damage, deal damage to that enemy equal to your defense for that attack. Oh, okay. So if you have like an armored vest thing going on, so let's say you have a base of 3, armored vest is 4, and let's say you play another defense card on top of it, starts getting pretty crazy, right? We're one of those like +2 defense cards. That could be really crazy. You have to take no damage though. That's a secret. Which combos excellently with the Spider reflexes for a potent counterattack. Call on Scarlet Spider. We have one Scarlet Spider, right? Is he basic, I think? 3-cost ally. 1/1 with 2 consequential damage. 5 Web Warrior card. When another Web Warrior character would take any amount of damage, Scarlet Spider takes that damage instead. It's an interrupt and not a force interrupt. So you can choose to do this. This is definitely, in my opinion, worth just like having him take the damage. To pull damage away from Silk or your other web warriors, you can equip with Energy Shield. Oh, it's a new artwork Energy Shield. That's fun. Oh, wait, no. No, it's a different Energy Shield. That's what the other card's called, right? Energy Shield? Interesting. Zero cost upgrade. Attached to a character. Max one per character. When attached character would take any amount of damage, spend X energy resources to prevent X amount. Okay. I, like that's not bad if we're like really struggling there at the end. But it's a resource to reduce the damage, like that's a lot. Like imagine using it as like a defense card, right? Like one resource to defend one life. Like ugh, I don't know. But if you have like resource generators that you're usually nothing with, that's good. Okay, that's fine. To reduce incoming damage, or even consequential damage. That's fine. When in alter ego form, you can call on the aid of Dr. Sinclair, 2 cost support, persona therapist. Oh, that's interesting. They're doing a support like this, alter ego. Exhaust Dr. Sinclair and spend a mental resource. Heal damage from your alter ego equal to your recovery. Let's go. You may discard one status card from your identity. Any player may trigger this ability. This is a bonkers card. There's no reason not to play this card. Mainly because like a lot of times us exhausting is expensive. Right? Like let's be frank for a second. Like us exhausting alter ego and then having like flip up and you're already exhausted is really expensive. If we can now just spend a mental to do it, and I know you have to pay for the 2 costs ahead of time, I get it. But still, that's a lot of value right there. Or you need to do a big recovery, you can double up. So that's crazy. For some therapeutic healing, when you're ready for a fight, 1 cost upgrade. Requirement, fist resource, maximum per player. When an enemy would scheme, discard this card to change the hero form that enemy attacks you instead. It's a good card, right? It's a good prep card. This will be nice for Black Widow. Actually, that's really nice for Black Widow when she's flipped down and you need to like pop back up because you need to flip down constantly with Black Widow. So that's actually an interesting card for Widow. Okay, you can quickly change the hero form to interrupt an enemy scheme. Madame Silk, another web warrior basic. Let's go. I'm so okay. Side note, really quick, because we'll get into this. I'm really hyped they're doing more web warriors. I wish it was easier for people to get sinister motives so they can have all the web warrior stuff. But as somebody who has web warrior stuff, loves Spider-Man stuff, I'm really liking this. Okay. 3 cost ally 2/1/2 stat line. After Madame Web enters play, look at the top X cards of the encounter deck, where X is the number of web warrior cards you control. You may discard one card looked at this way and put the rest back in any order. Okay, cool. Give it a shot of the pass. Lets you stack the encounter deck, making it easier for Silk to grab the cards that she needs. Finally, Cindy can always team up with Peter Parker for some investigative journalism, potentially stopping 2 schemes in one go. Okay. So team up with Cindy Moon and Peter Parker. Interesting. Alter ego sides. Alter ego interrupt. When an enemy would scheme, cancel that activation and confuse that enemy. 2 costs. That's actually really good for 2 costs. To cancel entire activation, especially when you're playing expert. In solo, right? Spider-Man Peter Parker. He says Peter Parker, so that should count. I'm pretty sure you could double check me on that, but being able to cancel a scheme like that's really strong. So, okay. As we mentioned earlier, the Silk Hero Pack comes with a monster set featuring Atlas of Thunderbolts. So, if there's one word to describe Atlas, Atlas 0318. This Thunderbolt thing is hilarious. That's doing. I really enjoy this. Villainous, Victory 1. Atlas gets +2 hit points for each growth counter on him. After the villain phase ends, place 1 growth counter. Okay, so you kind of want to rush him down because he's just going to keep getting growth counters. That's crazy. It's big. Not only is he an elite minion with a colossal 18 hit points, he gets even more hit points the larger you allow him to grow. Let him get too big and he'll eventually grow invulnerable. Maronian Veal, place 1 additional threat here for each growth counter on Atlas. If Atlas has 10 or more growth counters on him, more things and by the same token, use my link down below. If Atlas has 10 or more growth counters, you lose the game. Okay, so it's another like Dark Phoenix type of thing where there's an extra loss condition, so that's pretty cool. Okay. Where Atlas is growing strong, Treachery, find Atlas and reveal him. If he's already in play, he engages you. Atlas activates against you. If no enemy activated this way, boost card. Okay. As an elite Thunderbolt minion, Atlas's encounter set could be used as part of the Thunderbolt scenario in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. It's really interesting how they're doing that, so that'd be kind of cool. Naturally, since it is still a modular encounter set in its own right, you can use it as an additional challenge. All right. with her ability. I really thought this was the bottom of a bow, not a piece of paper. All right, with her ability to learn and counter threats to different encounter sets to maximum effect, Silk is a terrific hero and a fantastic addition to any team. Look forward to taking on Agents of AIM with Silk and the Silk Hero Pack when it arrives in April. Gotta check now. April. Okay, so they are releasing it together. All right, so obviously the good news is that they're releasing this stuff together. I know a lot of us were kind of worried, like, are they going to be doubling up packs? It definitely looks like they are, so that's good news. Okay, so Silk hot takes. The tuck card mechanics seem interesting. I think it's a little bit of a trap there that you'll want to like do the standard or expert cards. And I think you can, but it takes away a little bit of the value of like doing the extra damage or the extra defense, right? It doesn't negate it, right? I think that you can make a really good argument that there's certain like expert cards that like if I want to tuck away like mastermind or something like that can really mess up your game. I think that makes sense, right? So I think there's times it makes sense. I just think a lot of people are going to start like going like, oh, you'll be able to hit 7 every single time or whatever we said, 6 or 7 or whatever it was. Maybe, right? Maybe there's a good shot. I think it's going to take a bit to get those tuck cards in there, to get them working. But also, I think there's times that it's going to be really beneficial to tuck other cards. So don't always just look at the maximum amount that it is. Realistically, it's probably going to be like 1 or 2 short of that. Regardless, I like the tuck card mechanic. I think that looks really cool. I think you all know me at this point, hopefully, that I like depth in my game. I like strategy. To me, there seems like there's an interesting strategy here with these cards. Do you use them for different things? Do you keep them as like a way to hold cards? Do you use them to flip down and then, draw some cards? Who knows, right? Like there's a few different ways you can approach this. And then I like that kind of depth and strategy, right? That gets really interesting to me. So I'm really happy about more web work. I'm happy Cindy Moon is a genius too, because ingenuity is going to be nuts with her. But more Web Warrior cards, I'm hyped for it. I'm happy they're doing some Web Warrior cards. I like that they sneaked in a prep card as well, which is good. It's interesting that it's not any shield cards that we see yet. Maybe it will be, but it does. Like I know somebody had explained to me that in the comics she kind of like works with shield and whatnot, so there is some crossover there. But like her stuff obviously helps Web Warrior stuff the most, it seems, or works best with Web Warrior, I should say. It's a little unfortunate that Sinister Motives is impossible to get right now. So hopefully you already have it so that you can really capitalize on the Web Warrior trait. Because I know people will be like, oh, it'll still work if you have this. It'll help if you have all the Web Warrior cards. It really will. So am I hyped for her? Yeah, these are pretty cool. This and Shuri, I think are both really well done. I like both these designs better than definitely than Maria Hill, but probably than Nick Fury. Like I don't mind Nick Fury's design. I think it's good, but I am partial to spider characters. So take it with a grain of salt whenever I say anything great about Web Warrior cards because I love the Web Warrior system. So anyway, I'm hyped for Silk. I think that's really cool. Still, give me Black Cat, please. Give me Black Cat. Just need to put that out there in the world. So I'm happy with this. This was the one that we didn't know what it was. They gave us the teaser the last time, so that we kind of could figure it out pretty quick. So it's a little out of left field, which is interesting, but I'm happy with it. I think it's a cool design. I think the way it's going to work is really cool. The tucking thing, it'll be interesting to see in practice how quickly you can actually tuck cards and stuff. I think on some scenarios you can do it pretty quick if you take out a minion and then a treachery card and you already have 2, right? You're halfway there. So that'll be interesting. I think the protection cards, I'm not a big protection person, but Dr. Sinclair seems bonkers strong. And then the Madame Web for the basic card, I like that card. I could see myself using that a lot in general with Web Warriors. I think that just makes sense. So, and her cards seem pretty good. I think we have a good idea what most of them are, but obviously there's a few missing. I wonder if she's gonna have 2 allies. My gut says 2 allies, but we'll see. I don't really know. I mean, we've done 2 allies before a couple times, so it wouldn't be like out of the box, but it's not something I do a lot. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with her. I think she looks great overall. So let me know your thoughts down below. Are you excited? Are you hyped? I'm very hyped. Because it's Web Warrior, it's probably the top of my hype. So probably Silk, Black Panther, Nick Fury. Somewhere down there is Maria Hill. Anyway. So yeah, I'm hyped. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Make sure to like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. It really helps with the channel. Appreciate it. Make sure you use my link down below for buy the same token if you want to get your tokens 5% off and free shipping, assuming you hit a certain qualifying amount. Really appreciate it. Really supports the channel. And yeah, it's really awesome. So I'll see you all next time.